heroin, opium, ecstasy. Thailand has always had a reputation as a place where drugs are easy to find and cheap to buy. And as a result, drug use has ravaged the country, where the government says an estimated 5% of the population is addicted to methamphetamines alone. With the government's anti-drug policy gaining momentum, many addicts are beginning to seek help for fear of their safety and of their future. Here again is Susan Yu.
ที่ว่าเพื่อนผมนะครับถูกจับ
I have a dream about music. My father was a musician. I want to be a musician. But I have to overcome this first.
Tosapon Nopsukon hopes his dream will come true one day, but he knows he must first fight his demons. One of them is drug addiction. The 14-year-old became hooked on methamphetamine or yaba pills at the age of 11. For 3 years, Tosapon was popping an average of 10 tablets a day.
A friend introduced me to drugs. I found out my uncle was also a drug dealer. When I went to him for drugs, that's when he knew I was an addict.
The 14-year-old is now in rehab, along with scores of others at the Thailand Institute in Bangkok. It's one of the biggest drug treatment centers in the country, where addicts of all ages try to kick their habit.
The average age will be from 15 to 25. We have also the patients who are younger, maybe just 7 years old.
The cost for treatment is nominal, but the fee is waived for those unable to pay. The Institute uses a proactive approach with addicts, forcing them to engage in social, family, and community activities as a way to wean themselves off narcotics.
We spend about 4 months in terms of fast modern or rehabilitation the patient, and we will follow them for 1 year in aftercare program. I think in rehabilitation and aftercare program is the most important phase of treatment to prevent the patient relapse.
As drug users try to win their battle against addiction, temptations abound on the streets. Yaba pills continue to provide a cheap and easy high for addicts, even though those peddling the narcotics have been driven underground since the government's crackdown started in February. Thailand's tough anti-drugs campaign also covers the area of treatment. So far, nearly 250,000 drug addicts have reported themselves to the authorities, and soon, by law, all of them will have to undergo rehab. The government passed an unprecedented law in March, making rehab compulsory for addicts convicted of drug crimes. Addicts get treatment instead of jail time. The Drug Addict Rehabilitation Act aims to reduce the overcrowding problem that's growing in Thailand's prisons.
85% of prisoners are drug dealers. It's a big burden for government to take care of these people. So the government has to set up a drug rehabilitation program. It should try to solve the problem.
Thailand hopes to establish major rehab centers in all of its 76 provinces by July. Is it realistic?
Yeah, I think so, because the people who use this kind of drug, the methamphetamine, if they don't use it for a long time, just say for 4 years, it's very easy to bring them back.
In Phetchaburi province, the area's majestic scenery seems at odds with what's happening nearby. This military base is running a boot camp for addicts as part of the government's rehab policy. Nearly 90 addicts have been sent here. It's one of 34 government-designated military camps to help treat drug users.
At the start, they were worried that the army was going to get rid of them. We had to explain why they were sent here and how we want to make them become good citizens.
During the 7-week course, addicts learn skills that will hopefully help them make a decent and legitimate living, free of drugs. Dang Makam says he first took yaba to keep him alert at work, and eventually he became hooked.
I know I can overcome drugs. I can't say for sure I will never go back to it. But with the government's war against drugs, if I ever go back, it would be like committing suicide.
Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra has vowed the country will be free of its drug scourge by the end of this year. So for the country and its 300,000 drug addicts, the clock is already ticking. And the land of smiles that has for so many turned into the land of fear.